Welcome to Solutions. I'm Eileen Preston. This is a program about the community, its challenges and the issues it faces, and the individuals and organizations stepping up to help us with our problems and solutions. When we think about challenges, there's no challenge probably greater than that of a family faced with the diagnosis of a child with pediatric cancer. But when we think about stepping up, we think about our guest today. His name is Tim O'Connell, and he's working on a historic inn to help those families and give them something much needed and something Falmouth is uniquely qualified to give, a vacation. A place to get away. Tim O'Connell, thanks for talking to us today. Your place is called Tommy's Place.
Yes.
Tell us about Tommy's Place. First, a little bio on you. Can you tell me you're a Falmouth resident?
Yes, I'm a Falmouth resident. I've been coming to Falmouth since I was very little, over in the New Silver area originally, North Falmouth, Megansett area. And about 20 years ago, I purchased my own property in Falmouth Heights.
Okay. And you are a real estate developer, is that right?
That's correct. My background in real estate over the past 20 plus years has been in Boston and Martha's Vineyard. So I'm very familiar with doing over old buildings, okay, and the challenges that you face when you go into these types of properties, such as the Elmarch Inn.
Okay. So tell me about Tommy's Place. What is Tommy's Place going to be?
So basically, Tommy's Place is going to be a vacation home for kids fighting cancer and their families. One family at a time will come to the property for, up to a week. And it's going to be for their family only.
So not like the Ronald McDonald House where many families, but just one family, extended family if they want, friends if they want,
Yes.
but everyone the patient knows.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And where did you come up with this idea?
So several years ago, I have a vacation home over in Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
And I happened to have a week that got canceled that was in August. And I had done some previous work at the floating hospital in Boston. So on a whim, I went in there. And instead of giving the week away to family or friends or whatever, I said, maybe I can do something different. So I went into the hospital and I asked them, I told them I have this week. I said, I don't know exactly what I want to do with it, but it's available, so maybe we can talk about some options. Yeah. And I met my friend Jill in there, who I'd done previous work with during the holidays. I used to, do different gift giving and whatnot. And so I said, does anybody come to mind maybe that maybe someone could use this type of thing for a week? It's there and it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. And she said, wow, that's amazing. Like,
yeah.
Why don't, let's think about it. Let's talk about that a little bit. And then I said, wow, what about that little boy Griffin, that I had seen him, he's wearing a Bruins shirt. I'd actually helped out a family, several years ago. And she said, well, he's not doing too well right now. I'm like, well, maybe we could have his family come down.
Right.
So that's what.
So they did. They went to your Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
And they stayed for a week.
They stayed for a week, and the community over there was just amazing. We had restaurants for them every night, boat rides, plane rides, you name it. We filled the refrigerator. All they had to do is come there and enjoy their vacation and create memories from there. Beautiful.
For a whole week. And vacation is so important because if we think about the stresses that are on a family who have this diagnosis, not only financial, but emotional stress and some of the things they go through, right?
Yes, and his doctor at the time said directly, he said, this is the best medicine for him right now. Yeah. And this whole thing, what happened, this was all done anonymously at the time, but it was a couple of weeks after they had left the house. I got a call from my friend Jill over at the floating hospital. She says, you got to come in here. I said, we have some things that we want to give to you from the family, And so
to their anonymous donor.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And I went into the hospital and I got these letters, one from Griffin's mom and one from Griffin's grandmother. And with those letters, there was photos. But what was interesting to me is Griffin's mom said, I haven't seen Griffin smile like this in the longest time. And then Griffin's mom, Amy, mother, said the same thing about her daughter.
Oh, wow.
And I was just blown away.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they gave me all these photos. And every little photo was, they were, they were on a boat. They were on, they were taking sailboat rides. They were going to restaurants. They were just everything. They were in the pool, and they was just all fun. People were smiling. They were happy. And I was, after I saw that, I said, wow, to me, it was just a little gesture. I had the place, it was open, so why not? And
The impact
on me was unbelievable, because I said, wow, they got so much out of that. I want to do that for more people. And what was interesting at the time, Amy's mother, and the last line that she wrote in the letter that she wrote to me, it said, to Mr. Anonymous on these letters, and it said, I hope to do the same for another family someday. And that's the thing that
got you.
drives
It
me.
stuck with you. That's wonderful. It drives you.
Yes.
So you, Griffin didn't make it, right? He died the day after Christmas.
Yes.
But he got this gift that I think we can all remember from childhood how important it was to go on vacation.
Yes.
It just does something for a family, you know?
yes.
So, so you're going to try to do this in Falmouth, and you've picked a place in Falmouth that's sort of a survivor itself, right? You've picked.
Yes. The former Elm Arch Inn,
Okay.
which is now going to be called Tommy's Place.
Why Tommy's Place?
So Tommy's Place, that came about haphazardly as well. I happened to be in the former Stone Lovin' Pizza on Main Street, and I was sitting in there eating one night, and this guy was sitting next to me, and he kept kind of bugging me a little bit, trying to talk to me. And finally I turned around, and we started talking, and he was asking me if I was doodling on a napkin, and he asked me if I was an architect, and I said, no, I'm far from that. I'm just doodling some real estate stuff here. And then I said, well, what are you doing here? He says, well, I'm out thanking people. And I said, that have helped me out. And he never really said exactly what they were helping him for, but he was just out thanking them. But then he told me he was a little bit upset. I said, why? What are you upset for? And he said, all the money that we raise has to stay in Falmouth. But he says, there's this girl up in Springfield that during the tornado, her mother was laying down on top of her in the bathtub. She had put her in the bathtub and laid on top of her. The house caved in and killed the mom.
I remember that story.
Yes, so he thought that we should, be able to help that girl. So what happened was I just said, hey, I'll help. He says, why will you help me? You don't even know me. And I said, well, you just said you needed help, and I'll help you. I said, but not tonight. I said, where are you going to be tomorrow? And he says, I'm going to be in the quarter deck restaurant. And I said, well, what time? And he says, 9. I'm like, 9? I'm like, I didn't think they had breakfast
9
there.
in the morning. Yeah.
Yes. So I went, when he left, I said, who is this guy?
Right.
I didn't really know who he was. And I went on my phone and I started looking, and I looked, and I'm like, this guy looks familiar. And I figured out it's Tommy Leonard, the founder of the Falmouth
Local
Road Race.
legend.
Yes.
Falmouth, right? Okay, the road race. Yeah.
Yes. So I went and I saw him the next day. I went and knocked on the door down there, and he came out and opened up, and he was kind of surprised to see me because I was from the night before and whatnot. So I gave him some money, and I said, look, this is just anonymous between me and you. You go do whatever you got to do with it. Well, 2 days later, he calls me, and he says, you got to come down here. And I said, for what? And he says, can you just come down here? I need you to sign a card. And I said, Tommy, I told you this is just between us, right? And he said, no, it's okay. I come down. Well, this is what happened. I went down there. He had taken my money, and he grew that money like this because he told the story over and over again of what happened. And now he had a card with all kinds of names in it. And from that point forward, I said, this guy is just amazing, because it's one story after another story after another story. And then I read a book about him.
Right.
And how he's an orphan. And that whole thing kind of resonated with me. And just the way he is such a giver, and there's so many circumstances and so many people that he's helped all over the world, and he's just quietly does it. He's very humble. You wouldn't know. Thank God I found that book, because I found out a lot more about him. So that whole thing, I said, between his charitable giving, how he makes me feel like $1 million anytime I ever saw him. I could be in Boston having the worst time, and I would literally drive down there just to go see him and get his greeting.
So you've named the Elm Arch Inns. The new name will be
It's Tommy's Place. Yes, and basically, he's an orphan.
Right.
What I've seen so far in Falmouth is there's a plaque and a bench for a man that's given so much more. And I thought, you know what? Here's a home for Tommy that he never had, and he can welcome everybody into his home forever now.
Beautiful.
And that's basically what I was going to call it Griffin's Place, but it's Tommy's Place in memory of Griffin Sawyer.
So I think you gave us some pictures of what the inn looks like, and it's got a lot of work, right? You need a lot of work. So we have a plan with Flossie's room and things like that. Can you talk about the previous owners?
Yes.
They were helpful in your...
They were very helpful. I had been watching this property when on the market in 2011. I made my first offer back in 2013, and at the time it didn't work out.
Right.
So over the course of the next several years, different plans were presented to the Richardson family, and each and every time I just saw them go through a lot of pain. And I said, and I would always cross my fingers that those plans would fall apart so I could make Tommy's Place.
Yes.
So it finally came to this year, and I got a call that said maybe there's going to be a little problem here. Maybe you want to come down and look. And I said, okay, but it's not the best timing for me right now, but I'm going to come down and look, and let's see what we can do. And we sat down with Pete Richardson, and I told him, I said, this is what I want to do. I need some time, and this is what I can pay. And he was asking $700,000 at the time, which was, significant. And I told him, I said, this is where I'm at. And
right.
I don't want to see you go through any more pain or anything. So this is the best that I can do right now. And we paid $500,000 for it.
Drop the price.
Which was very generous of the Richardson family.
And the town would probably be happy because it was historic preservation of a very important piece of property.
Yes.
And do they live next door still?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes, and they love the whole concept. They love the whole use of it. They've been very accommodating with everything, so it's great. They were the beginning of welcoming me into this community just by their generous offer of
The Richardsons.
Yes.
And so there's going to be a room, right, that you're going to have Flossie's room, which is that's Flossie Richardson.
Which she doesn't know about that. The family does not know until you just said that.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, breaking news here, folks.
That's right. Which is good. That's
Okay.
and it's all.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. So I have several rooms. When I met her one time, I believe, and she was sitting in this screen porch room, and that's where I came up with, she was very popular around Falmouth.
Yeah.
So I said, this would be great for the family and everything else like that. So there's Flossie's room, and then there's Griffin's room, and there's going to be a Sawyer room, which is their family room.
Their last name, right?
Amy's alcove, which is Griffin's mom.
Okay.
And then Dave, which is Griffin's dad, is going to be Dave's den.
Beautiful.
So
they're all there.
Everybody's going to be part of this, yeah.
And what is the needs right now? Put your real estate hat on. Right now you've got a lot of construction, right?
Yeah, so right now we're in the fundraising stage and whatnot, but in terms of what this property is going to need, it's been sitting for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. It's
not usable by any stretch of the imagination, so we have to start at the very first stage to gut the property.
Okay.
And then go inside and see what we're dealing with in terms of structural issues and whatnot from there, you know, we're trying to,
So we can see, like, the kitchen is pretty, I'd say that's 1910, but I don't know.
yeah,
Pretty old. And so that will have to be all redone
yes.
itself.
That room is going to be actually transformed into a game room.
And the walls, oh, game room, very
Yes,
fun.
so it's totally different. The kitchen's actually going to go on the other side of the house. So we'll have ping pong, pool table, pinball machines.
Pool, an actual swimming pool.
We're going to have a pool, yep.
Koi pond,
Koi pond,
movie theater.
movie theater. There'll be a, you know, we'll have a, trying to think what else we have
This
there.
is what we're looking at here. That's
Also part of the game room.
That's part of the game room. The walls need a
Yes.
lot of work. So
Right
you're going to need
beyond-
lumber? Is that, yeah?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
going to need every single thing that you would need to build a new house.
Have you done this before with houses that you've had to build
Yes,
before?
my background in South Boston, I've done over many multifamily homes that are all 100+ year old.
properties, yeah.
Yes, so we've had to take them down to the studs and put them back together again.
Okay.
So this isn't
So you're
something.
used with the mold and the this and
Yeah,
that.
this
You're gonna-
doesn't scare me at all.
Not scary.
But it's unconventional in terms of what I'm used to doing, because typically we'll go to the bank, borrow the funds to do the renovations,
Right.
put the place on the market, and sell it. Now this is a totally different program than that.
Will the exterior stay the same?
The exterior will, as far as what you see right there, that other
I
than
like that the chimney has that black line. I think I read that means it was a loyalist house, right, for the British?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
correct.
Amazing.
Yes. So as far as the whole exterior of the property, it won't look like that, but it'll look like that brand new.
Right.
That's the plan.
Amazing,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the plan. I mean,
We'll all want to live there.
yes, exactly.
okay.
I mean, it's the whole idea is to make it a unique experience. So it's not just walking into a hotel room, not walking into a hospital, not walking into their own home. So it's gonna be a wow experience. We want it to be like an HGTV, dream home, Disney type experience. So when they walk into this home, all these rooms are gonna be different. It's just gonna be all about fun. And that's part of the reason why we only want one family in there at a time. So they can use all of the house all to themselves. And
No waiting.
Nope, and they can bring, exactly, so they can bring their grandparents, they can bring friends, cousins, anybody. I find that's what happens with these situations. I've done it several times over on the island. They end up bringing all the people that have been so good to them, and this is their way of giving back. And that's why this whole experience is going to be, it's free of charge for the families to come in there, and then
Let me just draw your attention to
Yes.
to this. This is I think you've got the rooms up here, right?
yes, that's the site plan right
The
there.
site plan.
Yes, so you can
Talk me
see
through
that
it.
you'll see in the yard there, there's that whole
Basketball and hockey, yeah?
basketball and hockey on that side there. Yep,
Fabulous.
they're gonna have a jungle gym. We have a pool. We have a fire pit area, koi pond, and on the left side.
Got to have a fire pit that
Gonna
close to
have-
the beach,
you have
right?
to have
Yeah,
it, right?
beautiful.
And
Yeah,
the guest
fun.
quarters on the side there, that's going to be reserved for potential caregivers or nurses if somebody has the need for
Oh, you
that.
thought of everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you'll probably have to do handicapped accessible.
Yes, that
yeah.
whole first floor, everybody, if somebody has issues, they're going to be able to get around there, no problem.
Beautiful. And the second floor.
Yep.
No, is this
That's
the first floor?
first
again?
floor.
That's the
Yeah.
first floor.
So if you
How
see,
many bedrooms? I'm sorry, did you say
we're going to
10?
have a total of 11
11
as of right
bedrooms.
now in our preliminary planning. So there were 18. So we're going to be eliminating several of the bedrooms. But a lot of the structure from the inside in terms of the room sizes and whatnot, they've worked for 200 years maybe, and we're going to keep those same type of room sizes and whatnot. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to get this place looking good, get it open, so we can start bringing the families in.
I love what you said that if they slept comfortably for 200 years here, they'll sleep for 200 more years.
That's
so
right.
You're putting this up for a long time.
Long time, yeah.
Beautiful.
And that's,
How will you get your patients? Are you working with an organization? Because I know, sadly, I think every year there's about 10,000 children diagnosed with pediatric cancer, a little bit more than that.
Yes.
And the rates are going up a little bit for childhood
Yes,
cancer, although
yes.
the disease is being stopped.
right. And
So that's the good news.
Right, and this happens to be Child Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be dealing with Floating Hospital, because I've
Hospital.
worked with them in the past, and also Boston Children's and Dana-Farber as well. And we're going to be dealing with different advocates there. We'll have a vetting process.
Beautiful.
And like I tell everybody, I said the sad part is, I said, you know, just like you were explaining there, the easy part is going to be finding the kids, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to give preference, you know, for kids on the Cape too. They're going to rise to the top of the list,
Great.
so they can enjoy the experience too.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So, if people want to help, have people contributed in the community so far?
Yes, they have. From a financial standpoint, we have a fundraising site that's up, GoFundMe page. I have a list of probably 80 people that have reached out to me.
Oh, is that right?
With all kinds of things. That's why I was saying.
Like what? What have they offered?
Oh, there's therapy dogs. Like I said, principals of the schools saying the kids can come over here. We can use the gym. They can use the grounds. We have activities. They can come and join in on the activities. People have offered to come in with gift baskets every week and be greeters, baking, cooking meals. I mean, it's just nonstop. And I just wish we could open yesterday, because.
Yeah. So what is your timeline? What are you expecting?
So, again, we're in the fundraising stage right now.
Yes.
So we have a capital campaign going on to hopefully push things a little bit.
And people can sponsor rooms.
Yes.
Right?
So we've identified between the inside and the outside of the house probably 32 areas, and we have a capital campaign going on right now, called, Founding Members Capital Campaign, where a family or an individual or a corporation can sponsor a room, and part of that room sponsorship is going to allow them to decorate that room in their own style. It could be family heritage, it could be sports, it could be action figures, it could be anything that you can imagine.
Right.
And we just want it to be, again, a wow experience when the family walks in there, and every room they just pop it into the next room, like getting, all excited about what's there.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways to contribute. So if people are interested and they want to learn more, where can they go?
So right now, they can contact me directly through the Facebook page.
Okay. I think we
it's
can put that up too, yeah.
Yes, Tommy's Place Falmouth.
Beautiful.
And if someone wants to contribute either through labor, materials, or financial support,
That's your most immediate need, is the labor and
Yes, we need everything.
Yeah.
It's been sitting there for a while, and it's going to take, it's a pretty big undertaking to put it back together.
Well, it's a great undertaking, and we really thank you for talking to us
Yes,
about it. Really,
I
it's going to
appreciate
be
it.
amazing. Can't wait for the ribbon cutting.
Yes.
Thank you very much, all of you, and let's all keep looking for solutions.